What's up, everyone? Thank you for joining me on another episode of AI Buzz. Got some really cool content for you today. Today, we're going to be talking about an article from the MIT Technology Review. And specifically, what this article is talking about is the issue with replicating AI papers. And this essentially came about from a response in the very popular scientific journal Nature. And it was written by 31 scientists to essentially Google. And what they were essentially discussing in this response that they mentioned here is the fact that Google provides almost no details about the code that they publish papers on. And they claim that it's pretty much a promotion for the team and for the tech. And they're really providing not much advancement in the way of science if they're not really putting their exact code out there for others to use and bounce off of. And unfortunately, that's really against private industry. When you're a private organization, you want to really keep the lock and key on your product, which is your code, essentially your model. And I understand, I guess, why Google does not release their code, but if you're publishing a paper on it, you should expect to essentially be giving something out that can be used by other people other than just saying, here's what we accomplished with it. I'm not going to tell you how we did it. But that's what these scientists, mainly headed by Benjamin Haibekane from the University of Toronto. And he mentions it's really not just this particular study. It's a systematic pattern of these big tech companies not showing how they are, coming up with these results or providing the code. Maybe they'll describe, at a high level their method, but they do not really provide much else. So that's essentially what this review is about, and it's definitely a big issue because the whole point of publishing in academic journals is to disseminate information and further the field. And if you're just kind of saying, well, we did this, we're not going to tell you how, we're not going to teach anyone else how to do what we did so the field can be furthered, then does it really deserve to be in one of these journals? A lot of times these accomplishments are very impressive, but like I said, if they're not putting anything out there into the world, then I can see both sides of this. I can see both sides. This is a great read out of the MIT Technology Review. I'll put the link in the description. Please check it out. It's a really good article. And they go on to talk about a couple more examples, that pattern that Benjamin was talking about up above, where it's not just Google, it's these other tech companies like Facebook AI. They talk about OpenAI, which has some extremely impressive models that they've somewhat open sourced. So GPT-3, they have not fully open sourced GPT-3. It's a massive language model and said to be the best in the world right now. And instead of them completely open sourcing it, they're kind of picking research groups, developers to essentially give this out to. So they're not giving it to everyone. They're sort of picking who they want to have it. And down in this section here, they're talking more about, is OpenAI picking the winners and losers of AI research? And one can definitely see where Mark Rydell is coming from in this tweet here. I think that things should be open source. I'm a huge believer in that concept, and I hope a couple of these tech companies can find a way to at least give back some of what they've developed here. And instead of just kind of saying, here's this black box, we can do cool things with it, but we're not going to tell you how we did it or show exactly what went into it. So again, I definitely recommend checking out this article. They talk in this section about papers with code. This I really hope catches on. So many research papers are published without any of the code that was used to generate the results. And this Papers with the Code project, coming out of University of Cambridge by Robert Stonczyk, is a great initiative. And I hope it actually becomes the gold standard for publishing academic papers, because it should be commonplace. Big believer in archive as well, as is mentioned here. Getting out of that system of academic publishing is extremely beneficial to everyone, because these institutions, they try to be really exclusive and only let scientific research be available to those who can afford to pay for these papers. And these papers are very expensive. To get one paper sometimes can cost $30 to $50. And that's very prohibitive to most people who are not getting these subscriptions through academia, through like their research university. So the theme of this whole article is essentially people or organizations that publish in academic journals need to be including some or perhaps all of their code. And also, we need more transparency. More generally, we need more transparency in science, and more specifically in AI, especially in AI research. Because these models, even with the code, sometimes can be a black box. So without the code, it really can be a black box. Again, I'll put this link in the description. You guys can check it out. Thanks so much for watching today. Hey, if you're new, please press subscribe. I'm a new YouTuber who is looking to get more of an audience, who really likes to see AI content, technical AI content, some of the things that I think are really cool in this field. Give me a comment and a like. Let me know what you think. Thanks so much.